television has become an intrinsic part of our daily lives. Every day, millions gather to watch their favourite programmes ranging from the latest documentaries, comedy, sport, drama, all the way down to the news. The news informs us about the world around us, thousands of miles away from home. But what about the issues on our doorstep? Are we less informed? Or is it slowly being pushed out of the schedule? Local issues in the media have been around since the invention of cinema. At the end of the 19th century, Sagar Mitchell and James Kenyon travelled across the country with a movie camera, recording day-to-day life within the small communities that populated the countryside. Instead of hiding away from the new medium, people flocked around the camera out of sheer fascination. Mitchell and Kenyon travelled under the slogan, "Local films for local people." On the 27th of November 1897, the first recorded screening of one of Mitchell and Kenyon's films took place in Blackburn. People instantly took to this new phenomenon. From that day, local issues became more and more of a feature on television. In the 1960s, both the BBC and ITV leased out broadcasting rights to individual networks. Each of these networks had their own identity and image presented to their local audience. In this sense, local television peaked in the 1980s with even more unique identities, ranging from the thistle of Scottish TV in the north to the rolling fields of television southwest in the south. However, things began to change. During the 1990s, the networks began to lose their individuality. It was becoming clear that advertising revenues from each of the local stations was decreasing. Individual networks lost out in terms of production budgets, resulting in the reduction of local programming. This came to a head in 2002, when Granada and Carlton decided to merge with one another to form ITV plc. This merger meant that all the networks bar channel television came under the control of one single entity. Shortly afterwards, the idents changed again, thus concluding the homogenization of the ITV brand. Today, local television consists of only half-hour news bulletins. On a short boat trip from the mainland, there is a small network that wishes to buck the trend. Solent TV, situated in Newport on the Isle of Wight, broadcasts to the people of the island with their own brand of programming. Solent TV is the first wholly independent local channel in the UK. Solent TV's director, Simon Clark, explains about the people behind this unique project.
Solent TV was created early 2002 when Island volunteers saw that the TV12 licence was coming up for an end and thought that they could do a better job. And I'd like to think it's proved that they've done a better job. And it was Linda Rovnick and Phil Truckle, Paul Topping and myself came up with what Solent TV should be, following the Island Volunteers Group guidelines of how a community business should be within the community.
Unlike the thousands of employees that the major networks hire, Solent TV is a very concentrated network, run by a very small but dedicated team.
We have 10 people employed here full time. It's actually more than that because we have the fantastic support from broadcast networks, and I would say that that adds it certainly by another 2 that are always here, 3, 4, because their back office support is fantastic as well.
On the 15th of January 2007, Solent TV acquired the rights to broadcast on Sky Digital. Simon continues to emphasise the reasoning behind the switch from terrestrial to digital in rather blunt terms.
Because terrestrial analogue broadcasting is dead. It's as simple as that. In 2012, the Meridian region, which is the last region, the analogue transmission will be switched off, and then the whole of the UK will be broadcasting digital.
Solent TV broadcasts a variety of programmes, all from its Newport studio. From within this small set, 4 different programmes are produced, edited and broadcast across the island, and now the whole of Europe. One of these programmes is the daily news programme Solent Tonight, managed by its news editor and presenter, Christopher Blanchett.
Well, Solent Tonight is very explicit in what it does, and it offers extremely local news. We're quite lucky on the island in that our patch is explicit because we're bordered by water, and it really offers the people of the Isle of Wight an opportunity to get their news in a television format. And we explicitly only do the Isle of Wight, so they can tune in and know everything, all the stories will be about the Isle of Wight and it will matter to them.
Despite the relatively small area of the Isle of Wight, there is plenty of news to be had.
Well, every programme starts in the morning where we have a news meeting where I bring all the team together and we decide on the news stories of the day. We have a brainstorming session, if you like, and decide where we want to go with the programme, what particular stories are happening today, if there's anything national that we want to bring down to a local level. We then decide on the treatments for those stories, whether we want to do a fully fledged sort of package on it or if it's just a news with pictures.
In 2006, ITV attempted to regain a more local feel to its content by introducing the online service ITV Local. From there, visitors could choose what local programming they wished to watch, when they wanted to watch it. In theory, this gives the user more control of their local news and current affairs. However, Simon Clark spots an important flaw within ITV's thinking, which makes Solent TV stand out in comparison.
Meridian isn't local, Meridian is regional. Solent TV is local. Now, local was defined by Ofcom. I don't know whether they still stick to this or whether they're kind of rejigging it now. But local was kind of 25-mile radius. Regional, Meridian, that's not local at all. One of the big things, particularly with the Isle of Wight, is that a lot of people said that on the coverage on Meridian or on South of the Isle of Wight was minimal.
Well, I find it funny that you call it local because to me they're not local. They are, the BBC South region is massive in comparison to us. It's a huge area of the country. It's much more of a regional network, and that's where we differ basically. Although they're a great programme, it's a magazine format and it's very watchable. In terms of what's relevant to you and relevant to the viewer, an Isle of Wight viewer might only have 2 stories a week that come from the Isle of Wight on either of those programmes.
A key contributor to Solent TV's digital switchover is the company Broadcast Networks. Broadcast Networks, situated just outside Winchester, offers services regarding digital solutions to companies and organisations around the world. Broadcast Network's relationship with Solent TV ranges from offering the latest in digital equipment to on-hand technical support.
Well, we really took or gave Solent TV guidance on the entire process. It's an enormous undertaking to change from an analogue TV station to be launched onto a new digital platform such as Sky, and the whole change, transformation, I guess, is something that takes not just operational and operational people to do this. It takes a lot of technical expertise, and we really guided them from start to finish.
Tom Hayes' years of experience have taken him across the world, but he still contributes directly to individual projects at home.
I've spent a lot of time with the guys at Solent TV, mainly because they have very little technical expertise on board. So the system that we've built is a system that's got to work 24/7 all the time. And if there's any issues or any problems or changes need to be made, then I'll personally try and get involved and help them out. It's a small TV station, and therefore it's understandable that they don't have the expertise that larger multinational or international broadcasters would have. So I try and help them out as much as I can.
With Broadcast Network's assistance, Solent TV has high hopes for the future.
I'd like to think that the government would have seen how important local television is. It's been called the future of TV.
Well, it's only going to get bigger, I think, but on the same token, it's only going to continue to concentrate on its patch and its area. We'll always be the Isle of Wight's television station, and it's just the way we do things will change. At the moment, in the last couple of years, the technology that we've used is completely different and really sort of at the forefront, if you like.
What's next? I don't know. Whatever we see that's on the horizon, we'll take it.
As the BBC and ITV devote their airtime to national programming, more and more projects like Solent TV could come into fruition, potentially signalling a new era in local television history.